Hey, how's it going? So I'm going to be opening up the new Shaddoll structure deck, the Shaddoll Showdown. Let's get into the structure deck now. First off, we start off with El Shaddoll Grista. Now, if you don't know what this one does, when a monster or monsters would be special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, and you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you could negate and destroy that monster. And if you do, send that Shaddoll monster to the graveyard. Then we have the new El Shaddoll Apicalone. If I said that wrong, I apologize. But yeah, it takes two Shaddoll monsters with different attributes, and then it gains one of these effects. If this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up card on the field and negate its effects. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Shaddoll card from your deck or graveyard to your hand, then discard one card. So that'd be kind of cool. And then you got the boss monster, El Shaddoll Construct. When this is special summoned, you get to send one Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. And then at the start of damage step, if the card battles a special summon monster, destroy that monster. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Shaddoll Fusion back turn or Shaddoll spell or trap to your hand. And then Cad Shaddoll Kaios, I believe. Its flip effect is you can special summon one Shaddoll monster from your hand in face up or face down defense position. Then if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send one Shaddoll monster from your hand to the graveyard. And if you do, for the rest of the turn, all monsters you control gain attack and defense equal to the original level of that monster, sent to the graveyard times 100. And you can only use that effect once per turn. And then this one's really good, the Shaddoll Windy. So it basically has the same effect. It's flip and sent to the graveyard by card effect. As pretty much the same thing. You get to special summon one Shaddoll from your deck in face up or face down defense position, except for herself. And yeah, and that's the second effect is the same as well. So that's really good. And then one Nel Shaddoll Aerial. Its flip effect is you can target one of your banished Shaddoll monsters, special summon it in face up or face down defense position. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target up to 3 cards in your graveyard, banish them. You can only use the effect of one aerial per turn. So yeah, that's really nice. Oh, you can do it from the graveyards, so I'm assuming you can do your opponents as well. That's pretty cool. Then one Shaddoll Incarnation. You can target one Shaddoll monster in your graveyard, special summon it in face up or face down defense position. And then you can banish this card and one Shaddoll card from your graveyard, then activate one of these effects. Change one face down monster you control to face up defense position. Or change one face-up monster you control to face-down defense position, and you can only use each effect once per turn. And then the El Shaddoll Winda. So it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and each player can only special summon monsters once per turn. And then when it's destroyed, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap to your hand. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be kind of a pain moving into the later formats. And then the El Shaddoll Shikanaga. When this is special summon or when a special summon monster would activate an effect, and you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. And then send one Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard, and you can only use the effects once per turn. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a spell or trap. Pretty much all the fusions have that effect. And then the Shaddoll Fusion. You can fusion summon one Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. If your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use monsters from your deck as fusion materials. You can only activate one Shaddoll fusion per turn, so that's really strong. And then the commons and the more of the basic Shaddolls. Shaddoll Falco, flip effect. You can target one Shaddoll in the graveyard, special summon it. And then if it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon it in face down defense position. You can only use each effect once per turn. So that's nice. And then the Hedgehog When it's flipped, you can add a spell or trap, Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add one Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand, except for Hedgehog. Then Squamata, when it's flipped, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it. And when it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can send one Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard, except for itself. And then Dragon, when he's flipped, you can target one of your opponent's cards, one card your opponent controls, return it to the hand, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, you target one spell and trap a card on the field and destroy it, so really nice. And then Beast, when it's flipped, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card, and you can only use the effect of Shaddoll Beast once per turn. And then Shaddoll Hound, I don't think this one's ran as much, but when it's flipped, you can target 1 Shaddoll card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target 1 monster on the field, change its battle position. Flip monsters and activate their effect, and you can only use once per turn, or the effect once per turn. So I mean, not the best Shaddoll, but might come in handy sometime. Shaddoll Zephyra Naga. If this card is pendulum summoned, you can send or sent to the graveyard. You can target 1 card in either player's pendulum zone, return it to the hand. So not the greatest. And then the Shaddoll Zephyra Core. If this card is pendulum summoned or sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Zephyr card in the pendulum zone, except Shaddoll Zephyr Core, special summon it. And then one of the better reprints, even though, like I said at the beginning, it's not, it's not used as much, and but it's still pretty good. Banish 1 light, 1 dark, special summon it, and then you can use one of these effects. Either target 1 monster on the field and banish it, or if it destroys a monster, it can make a second attack. So that's a really nice reprint, in my opinion. And then Lava Golem, it's kind of like a kaiju. Distribute 2 of your opponent's monsters off, and then special summon it to their side of the field. And then each one of their standby phases, they'll lose 1,000 life points. Then Dark Arm Dragon, if you have 3 darks in your graveyard, or exactly 3 darks in your graveyard, you can special summon it. And then you can banish 1 dark to destroy 1 card your opponent controls, but it does target, so. Fairy Tale Sleeper. Perform a Trick Clown, really nice. If you can get it to the graveyard, it's just it can recur and special summon itself by paying 1,000 life points. So you can get some either Link plays going or Exceed. And then another pretty good reprint, Armageddon Knight. When it's summoned, you can send 1 dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then Felice, the Lightsworn Archer. If it's sent to the graveyard by a monster effect, you can special summon it, and then you can distribute it to the send 3 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard and destroy 1 card your opponent controls, or 1 monster. And then Electromagnetic Turtle, can negate an attack. By banishing it. And then Mathematician, another pretty cool reprint, even though I think it's been reprinted a couple times. Curry Bandit. And then this Cerberus card. So yeah, that's it for the monsters. Off to the spells. New Curse of the Shadow Prison. Each time a Shaddoll monster is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, place 1 spellstone counter on this card. For each sent monster, all monsters your opponent controls loses 100 attack for each counter on it. During your opponent's turn only, each time you fusion summon a Shaddoll fusion monster, you can remove 3 spell stones from this card and use 1 appropriate face-up monster your opponent controls as fusion material. So that is actually pretty cool, especially for like more of a pure Shaddoll build. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. And then, of course, the El Shaddoll Fusion. Fusion summon 1 Shaddoll monster from the extra deck using monsters you control. But it is a quick play, so that's really nice for pushing for a game. And then one of the least used of the Shaddoll Fusion cards, the Neff Shaddoll Fusion. Equipped it to a Shaddoll monster. declaring one attribute, that monster becomes that attribute, and then you can fusion summon with it. So I mean, it's kind of nice, but it's not used as much. I don't know if it'll actually see any play now that the structure deck has been released, but off to the next really big reprint, the Super Polymerization. Everybody should probably know what this does, but in case you don't, you discard one card, fusion summon one fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from either side of the field as fusion materials. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. So, ridiculous. Then another pretty good one, Instant Fusion. I don't know how this card hasn't been hit yet. Allure of Darkness, really nice. Foolish Burial. Living Fossil. Pot of Avarice, pretty cool. Twin Twister for like the 10th time. Shaddoll Core. Sinister Shadow Games. I'm not even sure. Shaddoll Aeon. If I said that wrong, again, I apologize. Target one Shaddoll monster you control, send one Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard, and if you do, that target's monster gains 1,000 attack and defense, but changes to face down defense position during the end phase. Actually pretty cool. And then a Lost Wind, pretty nice. Undying Nightmare. Necrofusion. The Subterra Succession. And then for some generic fusions, or not generic, but common, which is really nice, El Shaddoll Wendigo. Not too useful, but the Nautilus can see some play. Pretty cool as well. And then last, the Link for the for the Shaddolls. But yeah, really happy that they actually did print the Shaddoll structure deck. I personally am going to be trying to make Shaddoll Zombie Sworn. So yeah, I'm going to be pretty happy to try that out. But if you pick this up, let me know how you're enjoying it, if you're going to play pure, or if you're going to try mixing it with another deck. Remember, if you're new here, consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. But until next time, like I said, catch you guys later.